Justin will field your questions via chat and direct them to the right person with the red background. Patricia, I don't know if you had anything that you wanted to say, but I want to welcome everybody and let you know how excited I am to see you all and how eager I am to get to know you. We've got a lot of time in front of us, so I expect that before you leave school, we'll know each other extremely well. As this is a new situation, want you to know that the staff and the faculty and all the returning students, a few of whom are with us here, welcome you to the school community, and we're standing by to help you navigate the many changes that lay ahead. Before we get into the meeting, I'd like to say a prayer. Let us pray. Come, Holy Spirit, and open our minds so that we may best use the gifts, talent, and skills you have given us to excel in our education and ultimately make the world a better place. Grant us enthusiasm, confidence, perseverance, wisdom, and compassion as we learn to build our future together. Amen.
Amen.
When we're on campus, the Crow Center is where we work. Everything we need is here under one big roof. Our offices, the labs, the shops, the seminar rooms, the auditorium, the exhibit hall, and the studio. Except the library, it's next door. I would suggest that you use it often. You're probably expecting to call me Dean Ferguson, but please call me Mark. Today, you're joining a professional community in which we are all peers. Architects are trained to lead teams of people with very different expertise and experience. Our success relies on relating to people who are different than us. Like you, I'm new to Catholic University. I chose to make the school my new home earlier this year, probably for many of the same reasons you chose the school. It's a community with a rich tradition and a compelling mission of stewardship. It's also in a great city with many of the nation's finest buildings. You and I are going to build our careers together here. My job as dean is to enable a rich learning environment that continuously stimulates and feeds your curiosity. Your instructors are accomplished architects and scholars. They are also passionate teachers. They will challenge you to ask questions that will drive your course of study and ultimately your careers. My job is to support them. I'm also charged with engaging our community of alumni. You'll be one of them one day. They are proud of their Catholic University education, and they're also eager to support you, the next generation, with their time, their talent, and their professional opportunities. My job is much too big for one person. I'm assisted by 4 associate deans, Patricia, who is on maternity leave, Robin, who is our interim dean, Tanya, and 4 staff members, Justin, Alyssa, Paula, and Lorenzo. You'll get to know all of them very well. I came to the university from professional practice, where for 32 years, I have experience as the co-founder and owner of a 90-person business in New York City. My firm is the largest solely residential practice in the country. My partner and I have a portfolio of completed projects around the country and across the borders into Canada and the Bahamas. They vary in size and character from a city apartment to a country estate. I'm proud to say many have been published and recognized with awards. I see myself as a placemaker. The building is more than itself. It forms places with other buildings and with the landscape around it. Architects design the space both inside and outside buildings. They negotiate agreements between new buildings and existing buildings, between clients and communities, between an individual's vision of themselves and a community's identity, helping to bring them all together into harmonious unity. I've spent my career hiring, training, and coaching recent graduates. Our firm rarely hires experienced architects. Training our own team has proven to be the most successful in the long term. We provide a learning environment and a ladder for career growth. For some employees, this ladder leads to ownership of the firm. We hire people with curiosity, the potential to learn, and a willingness to work hard. My job is to prepare you to begin this trajectory. Career success comes in many forms, but all of us have one thing in common. We each own our own career. We are its sole proprietor, and we alone develop its assets, determine its moves, and protect its reputation. Architecture is a richly rewarding career. Everyone uses buildings. Everyone responds to them. You will learn to analyze your responses, to document your observations, and to harness them to help you imagine new buildings. You will learn why buildings are shaped the way they are, what makes them stand up, what keeps the weather out, how they form neighborhoods and cities, how they orient us, help us feel safe, and lift our spirits. Like fashion and film, architecture is a visual language. Buildings tell stories about who built them, the purpose for which they were built, and how they fit into their surroundings. Behind the great variety of appearances we see in the world are underlying design principles. You will discover these principles and learn to document their expression and remember the most beautiful ones. Our work requires abstract thinking, seeing ideas in things and applying them to new things. You will learn that drawing is essential for communicating architectural ideas, sketching an observation, visualizing a concept, rendering a design, or drafting a working drawing. The ability to draw is the architect's most powerful asset. Studying and practicing architecture is an invitation to explore the world, to learn about other cultures, to study history, to learn what buildings mean to people in other times and places, to learn how they express people's needs and dreams. You will learn why the world looks as it does, what other architects have done before you, what remains relevant and worth conserving, and what does not and requires reinvention. Architects are never satisfied with the way they find the world. It is our dissatisfaction that inspires us to imagine better, more humane, more beautiful places to live. Architects build other people's dreams. We use the specialized knowledge of design to accommodate their practical needs in buildings and places. It is hard work, but it is also play. It requires imagination, imagining multiple solutions to the same problem. It also requires judgment, discerning among many ideas the most appropriate idea. You are arriving at school at an exciting and difficult moment. The pandemic presents constraints, but also opportunities. You've chosen to embrace them both. You are not waiting for a better time. No one knows when that time will come. Schools and businesses have adapted to the online, socially distanced world. They are not waiting for better conditions. They are applying ingenuity and grit to carry their work forward with the same rigor and creativity as before. You are on the vanguard of this movement. Architects are fortunate. We're in the knowledge business. Technology makes it possible for us to transition to a remote virtual office. Now we're making that office the best it can be. In the short time we've been working virtually, we've learned a few important lessons I want to share with you. One, set up a home workspace where you can focus and work with the materials and equipment required to do your work. Two, make sure you have a good internet connection. Three, when you're online, find ways to mingle, browse, eavesdrop, create chance encounters with your peers. Four, use the software platforms for what they do best. That's convenient access to people in distant places, unlimited space to work, the ability to work at a macro and micro scale at the same time on the same page, and the ability to create virtual 3D experiences of the buildings that you design. College is a precious time. Looking back on your high school career, the 4 years ahead may seem like a long time, but looking ahead to your professional career, 4 years is a short time. Make the most of it. Manage your time. It is your most precious asset. Go to class, do the homework. Engage and excite your professors. Challenge your peers. Stay rested, eat right, stay fit, and explore the city. Do things with others. The friends you make will become your friends for life. Patricia, please tell us about the first day of school.
Oh, I want to, but it says host disabled participant screen sharing.
Joey, can you fix that for us?
Give me a second.
Okay, I thought you were a co-host here. All right, there you go. That should do it.
Great, thanks. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
Great, awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you about the first day, but first of all, I wanna tell you about today. This is the freshman orientation. Mark, thank you so much for the beautiful introduction and the beautiful welcome and prayer. Just an overview of what we're gonna be talking about today. Today we're gonna be talking mainly about the university generally, about the school, about the building, about some of your classes, about software requirements, things that you need to know about. And then around 3:45, we're gonna have a virtual tour. The building is closed this semester, unfortunately. We're hoping that it opens up progressively, but for now, we have a virtual tour that we put together for you so you can virtually be there. And then we're gonna have a short closing that Mark's going to wrap us up with. We're gonna talk about next week. We're gonna talk about your first semester, your first year, and then your future at Catholic University School of Architecture and Planning. Mark, do you wanna go through the health guidelines also?
Yeah, so, our most important objective here is to make sure that everybody stays healthy, that no one gets sick. Safety is our utmost priority, and that's why all of our classes are online. That's why the building is closed. We're eager for the time when we can begin to open the building and use it for limited activities. And critical to achieving that time sooner rather than later is wearing a mask at all times, inside and outside the campus. This is the plan that the university president has put forward to the mayor of Washington, D.C., and has been approved. So we're required to wear masks at all times. We're required to stay socially distanced. And if you have any symptoms that could be COVID, that you stay home, that you don't come to campus, and of course, seek health care. Which would mean calling health services, who would probably recommend a test in many cases. So you will see all of us on campus wearing masks. This is pretty much the way the world looks right now. And we encourage you to abide by that requirement. It's for everyone's benefit.
Thanks, Mark. Before we continue, I just wanted to mention something. This presentation is going to have a couple of different parts to it. And to help us filter some of your questions, what we've done is we have separated these little segments with question and answer periods. Okay, Justin, can you wave your hand? This is Justin. You're going to meet him in just a second also when I do my formal introductions here. But Justin is going to be moderating these questions like Mark mentioned. So you'll have plenty of time to answer, ask any questions and get them answered. But please wait until the question and answer period. So write down all your questions and then you can ask them at the end of the section. Okay, you guys good? Okay. Before we begin, we want to know a little bit about you guys. So let me see here. I'm going to pan through all of you. There's a couple of you who have your video off. We invite you to turn it on so we can see you, since we'll be getting to know you. Who here is from the furthest place? Do you think anyone from abroad? Just unmute. Raise your hand if you want to talk and you'll be unmuted. Anyone here from abroad? Anna Cruz, aren't you, where are you now?
Hi, yes, I'm from Puerto Rico.
Okay, Puerto Rico, yes. Okay, I know that I know the past couple of months I've talked to a few of you, and there may be another few of you who are from abroad. I think Fen, is Fen here? Okay, I thought I saw her. Okay, maybe not. So who's from like the West Coast area? Anyone from the West Coast area? Raise your hand or unmute yourself. How about from the middle section of this country? The Midwest. Just raise your hand or unmute yourself. Okay. How about from the East Coast? New Jersey. Awesome. Anyone from further north? Vermont. Anyone from Vermont? Maine. Unmute yourself and say hello. Are you guys not able to unmute yourselves? Oh, I can't hear you. Mike Mulligan, are you trying to talk?
No.
Okay.
Sorry.
Got it. Okay, so since we can't, I'm not getting anyone. I just want to welcome you guys from wherever you are. Usually we have a couple people from abroad, a couple people from way north, a couple of people from the south. Do we have anyone from the south?
I'm from Georgia.
Yay, great.
From Florida.
I'm from Louisiana.
Awesome. Sana. Who else? Victoria. Hey, Victoria.
Hi, I'm from Arkansas.
Yep, welcome. That's great. I know I met some of you guys and you were still deciding on where to go. So glad that you chose us. So fantastic. Awesome. All right. So what else? Anyone else from somewhere, Alaska or somewhere that's really abroad or a different place? I see Wanda J. Clark, Miguel, and Lauren Thompson. We can't see you. If you feel comfortable, you can share your screen. Okay.
Jake Clark is a parent. We're just going to say screen off if you don't mind. Thanks.
Got it. Okay. Yep. All right. So there are a couple of people that I'm noticing here that I'm not sure if they're going to be introduced, but I want to make sure I get to them. They're people with red backgrounds and there's some students. Joey, I think you're here with us, right? Joey Hale.
Guys,
Yep.
some of you know me. I'm going to be a senior. I'm in the classical concentration.
And Evan.
Hi, everybody. I'm Evan Markley here. I'm also going to be a fourth-year student. I'm in, we'll probably get into it more later, but I'm in the IPAL program. So I'm an undergrad and graduate student right now.
And you play which sport?
I'm on the men's lacrosse team also here at Catholic.
Great. And Brianna Hartman, do you want to tell us a little bit about you?
Hi, I'm a junior environmental studies major, which is still within the architecture school. And I'm minoring in peace and justice studies, which is interdisciplinary.
Fantastic. Okay, do we have anyone else here that I'm missing? Okay. All right, well, let's get to know some of the staff whom you'll be seeing in the front offices. So Kate,
Hey everybody, I'm the Associate Dean of Administration and the Building Manager.
Kate's a good person to know. Kate's a good person to say hello to every day. Lorenzo.
Hi everybody, I'm Lorenzo. I'm the woodshop director. I work with you fabrication, model fabrication from digital to physical, and I'll probably be seeing you next semester down here.
Lorenzo's also a great person to know. He can hook you up in the 3D printers, with the 3D printers, with any type of woodworking.
Correct.
Alyssa.
Hello, my name is Alyssa. I'm the student experience coordinator for this school. So you come to me if you have any questions about your tracking sheets or enrollment. I'm always here.
Thanks, Alyssa. I miss you.
I miss you too.
Long time. Justin.
Hi everyone, my name is Justin McPherson. I'm the administrative assistant for the school. So any appointments you need with our administrative staff, one of the associate deans or Alyssa, just contact me. I also handle a number of the course registration stuff. So just reach out to me and I will direct you as quickly and as accurately as possible.
Thanks, Justin. And he absolutely will. So he's a great person to know. Paula.
Hi everyone. Can everyone hear me? I'm Paula Riff and I'm new here too. I'm the administrative assistant for the dean and I'm from far away too. I'm from Brazil and I really want to know you guys once we have a chance.
And Paula's a great person to know, especially if you need a little bit of help with graphics. Paula is now helping us with all of our videos, especially in this COVID time, and she's just simply phenomenal. So here we are in the back offices, right? So we just heard from Mark, and we know about Mark's very stellar background. Mark oversees the academic administrative operations of the school and represents the school at a university level. And his door is always open and you could just talk with Paula about making any appointments with Mark and he can direct you to the right person or talk to you himself. We're also trying to get Mark to be a little bit more involved in the studios, in the studio environment because of his amazing background. So hopefully we can rope him into a couple of juries this year.
Of course. That's the most fun moment. It's where you've put the greatest effort and it's where you make the greatest leaps in your development. So I'm really excited about that.
And then I will be teaching you ethics and stewardship next year and environmental controls, some technical courses. Mainly focused on sustainability and environmental considerations in architecture. I'm a licensed architect in Washington, D.C., but this semester I'm not going to be here, and I'm sorry about that. But this is the reason why I can't be here. I just had triplets, so this is why I can't be here this semester. And Robin, who is an amazing person, is going to be substituting for me this semester. Robin.
Hi, everyone. I'm so glad to see you. I'm so excited. I am a practicing architect with over 20 years of experience in the DC area. I focus my practice on sustainable civic architecture. So I do libraries and schools and community centers, focusing on LEED design and WELL design. So that means net zero design and buildings that are good for people. So when you think of me, you can think of people and planet. Those are my two main focuses. I've been at Catholic University now for 4 years. I teach all levels of studio design and I teach various seminar courses, again, that have to do with the people and the planet. This semester, I am filling in for Patricia. These are big shoes to fill. but I'm going to be one of your main points of contact as the interim associate dean for undergraduates. So welcome, glad to see you guys.
And I just want to embarrass Robin for a minute by saying that Robin receives regularly at the end of the semester gifts and food from her students because she is one of our best professors here. So yes, I guess let's keep that tradition going, right? Tanya.
Hi, everyone. I have been teaching at CUA for a little while here, and I teach from the beginning to the end, and I love to teach classes, design studio classes and construction classes. I like to teach seminars, and you will all see me for this first semester, 101. I get the chance to see you guys for the whole first year, so I'm excited, and I'll talk more about that class at the time.
And we're so happy to have Tanya on board. Tanya, as she just mentioned, teaches the Summer Institute of Architecture, and you're probably the reason, she's probably the reason why you guys are, most of you guys are here. So we're really excited that Tanya's going to be stepping into the Associate Dean shoes as well. So let's talk about next week before we get into any questions. Next week, we're going to be basically talking about your classes, what's going to happen with your classes, any kind of facility work that we're undergoing, student ID access, username. We're going to talk about making sure that you're enrolled in the correct classes, and then math placement exam if you have any DSS issues, and also sports. So can you guys raise your hands? How many of you play sports? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, awesome. Great. Wow, that's a nice amount of people. And of course, we are totally open to you playing sports and majoring in architecture. I know that that's unique among architecture programs, but we believe that you can do it, and we have a lot of success with our students. So let's talk about your classes. This fall, you're going to have one architecture class, and the rest of your classes are going to be your LCs. Do you guys know what LCs are? Just nod your head. Learning communities. Great. So you will only have one ARPL course this fall, and that course we're going to talk about in just a minute. It's going to be Tanya's class, and she's going to rope you guys right into our school. Let's go back just very quickly to talk about facilities. Unfortunately, at this time, we're not open, but I want to give you a little bit of a background of the type of facilities we have. A lot of you guys know this. A lot of you chose us because of this, but we have a wood shop. Lorenzo is going to go through all of these with you, but I just wanted to give you a little intro. The wood shop is a great place. We have a lot of high-tech tools that you'll be learning to use in the wood shop. We have training sessions that you're required to take that are OSHA regulated training sessions for all of this equipment. We have laser cutters, and Kate, we have 2, correct? 3? We have 3, okay, awesome. We have 3 laser cutters. You'll be learning how to use these, like we heard earlier, next semester. We have a computer lab open to everyone with the latest software that you'll need for your courses. We have a 3D print lab. We have about 11 3D printers, right, Lorenzo? Yes? Yes. Okay, I can't hear you.
13 3D printers.
Oh, okay, great. Fantastic.
Yeah, the latest.
Awesome. When did we get those? The extra ones?
Before the break, right before we close down.
Amazing. So we've got 13. That's fantastic. And then we have a spray booth. So we really can't spray or use any paint anywhere else besides the spray booth. It's an isolated room that has its own HVAC dedicated exhaust. And this is where you do all of your spraying, okay? Not outside. Kate can give you a little note about that. Not on the sidewalk. This is where we do our spraying for our projects. Okay, so you guys know what this is, right? Your ID. It's a pretty important part of the beginning, the first week. Our building is closed for the semester, unfortunately. We'll reopen gradually. Front doors will be accessible with your permission from the admin office from 9 to 6 standard. If the car doesn't work for your dorm, you can stop by the parking and transportation office, Prisbilla 242. Okay, that's where you want to go if you're having some issues with that. We definitely want you to feel at home at Crow Center. It is going to be your second home, if not your first home. But we have to keep in mind that you have to stay safe and respect and protect your colleagues, even once we start to get open. The username and password, you're gonna have to have a username and password for a lot of things. Okay, so on the left-hand side, this looks familiar to you. Who can tell me what this is right here? Cardinals, does anyone want to unmute?
Cardinal Station.
Yes, I know. Cardinal Station, check plus for the day, but we have to go through this, right? Cardinal Station, this is really important. If anyone is having any issues with your password, please, do you see this little link? Make a note of it, okay? Blackboard, does anyone know what Blackboard is? Everyone knows what Blackboard is. You should, you will, because Blackboard is going to be the forum where we teach, okay? Blackboard and Zoom. Yes, Colin, you raised your hand. Colin, you have a question?
No, sorry, I was just raising my hand because you asked who knew it, so I thought we were just saying yes.
Well, thanks for doing it formally.
Sorry, won't happen again.
It's fine. Okay, so Blackboard, you're gonna all have logins for Blackboard, and then of course Zoom, which obviously you can log in because we see you. Another thing that's kind of weird at the beginning of the semester is some of you guys, at least we get this every year, we get a lot of students who are joint degree, civil engineering and architecture, but they really don't want to be joint degree. And they want to change their degree to architecture, okay, or to engineering, or they want to become joint degree. Just make sure that you check your major on Cardinal Station, okay? And if there are any issues with that, we can absolutely help you. Alyssa, who we just saw a second ago, Robin, Justin can lead you in the right place. Pretty much anyone can lead you in the right place. So just refer to everyone, but Robin officially as the undergraduate dean intern, and Alyssa will be taking care of that. So check your major, make sure it's correct. And are you guys enrolled in classes already? Who's not enrolled in classes? I don't want to embarrass you. If you're not, make sure that you enroll. If you have questions about it, Alyssa and Robin are the ones that you can talk to about that, okay? Tanya also and Paula can direct you in the right place as well. Okay, so it's really important for you guys to be enrolled in classes, okay? So just make sure that that happens this week. So did everyone take a math placement exam? I hope you guys did well. I haven't seen your tracking sheets, but Robin will. And this is really important also because we're required to take in architecture Math 111. Okay, it's a calculus, it's a Calc 1. And we got to make sure that you have that on your transcript at some point. So if you didn't do well, no big deal. You take Math 108. But if you did well, congrats, you're in Math 111. You'll be taking that this semester or next semester. If you need an academic accommodation, we have an amazing DSS office, which Justin came to us from, and that's located in the Prisbilla Center. Go ahead and give them a call. Go ahead and make an appointment with them as soon as possible. What sometimes happens in the classes is that we have DSS students coming to us as professors towards the end of the semester saying, oh, by the way, I have an accommodation. And you know what? It's a little bit too late for that. So we want to help you. We want to accommodate you. So let's make sure that we do that at the beginning now. Okay? And we saw how many of you guys play a sport. Just make sure that your coach can communicate with us if there's any issues with games or if you need to be waived from class for like a day or two or something. Okay? Evan, do you have anything to say about that?
I would just add, Patricia, that definitely being proactive with your professors in both the architecture school and any of your other professors is really the key. The professors at Catholic in general are really understanding and want to work with you. Just speak to them early, speak to them whenever, obviously the sports situation right now is a little different, but whenever they do start up and you have a schedule, talk to your professors right away and keep in contact with them about anything you might have to miss.
Great, thanks a lot, Evan. Okay, so Justin, I'm going to turn myself off and give you.
Hi everyone. So any questions that you guys have, just pop them into the chat. I see them coming in now. Is it too late to take the math placement exam? Patricia, do you know anything about this one?
Yeah, you can still take the math placement exam, but if you run the risk of maybe not being able to take your math class, maybe it's full. So please take it ASAP, okay? And then coordinate with Rob in your schedule. The good thing is that Math 1-1 is primarily taken by architecture students. So if we need to have another class, and if like half of you haven't taken the math placement and they need another section, they actually may be able to open up another section. So yes, do it now, okay?
Alrighty, so we have a student that's doing a dual degree person in architecture and civil engineering. They're asking, I'm taking math 1-1 and not 1-11. Is that all right?
You bet. Math 1-1 is the engineering version of what we take in Math 1-1-1. In addition, you're going to take Math 1-2-1 and 2 other calcs. You're going to have 3 calcs for engineering. So you're a little bit different than architecture. Arc only has to take the Calc 1.
Do you still need the math placement exam if you earned a 4 in the AP Calc exam?
Nope, you're good. And that means that you get an extra class that you can choose. We have a lot of electives. Robin will let you know all the electives that we have.
Alrighty, shifting gears a little bit. How do we contact our major advisors?
The major advisors for you guys, the freshman first semesters, will be Victoria McCloskey and the Center for Academic and Career Success. That's who you guys are going to be going to. The second semester, you'll be going with us.
If you guys have any other questions, just pop them.
I'd just like to jump in real quick as we keep going. So Patricia's going to launch into the next one. My job is to kind of make sure we stay on time and have plenty of time to answer your questions. If you have questions related to the content that Patricia just went over, feel free to still type them in and we'll get you the answers. But I think we'll just move on, and then you could just type away questions in the chat as Patricia brings up things. And we'll kind of attack it this way. So we will definitely get you an answer. It just, depending on the timing and how this goes today, we might get you that in writing later.
So do we have time for a couple more questions, Robin? I'm sorry.
If questions have come in, we can, but we're kind of running on time that we should go to the next segment now if we can.
Got it.
We'll catch you in the next question and answer, which is going to be in just a few minutes. So let's talk about your first semester. We talked about today. We talked about this week, what you have to take care of. Let's talk about first semester. So first semester, you're going to be in ARPL 101. You're going to be learning Miro, which is another online platform, especially that's particularly good for architecture. And we're going to be talking about drafting supplies, which we don't really need until next semester. We'll talk about what town halls are, student organizations, activities, and support. So I'm going to give it right now to Tanya so she can give you a couple of words about what you'll be doing in your first studio.
Hi, everyone. Great to see you. I just see my list of faculty, so I'm going to zoom down here and see if I can see some familiar faces. Hello. So you're all hopefully registered for 101, and you should hopefully have gotten some emails from me directly through the class the enrollment page, but also through Blackboard. So I'm sending messages from Blackboard, and so are some of the TAs with some tips and interesting things. You should make sure you turn on the notifications in Blackboard, because that is our main way of speaking to you. We won't send you, we won't blast you any other way. It's just through Blackboard. So that class is live. You can already start to look at the syllabus. You can already look at all the readings if you want. You can go ahead and do that, but don't get nervous. We'll wait until the first day to really go over everything. The same with Miro. You don't have to be completely ready for Miro yet. We're going to spend some time this first week getting to know it, and we have some like fun activities that we'll do together to get to know the program. We're also going to this is really an awesome chance for us to really kind of have studio right away. So we're going to break into groups, and we'll spend Tuesdays in small groups like in a studio that you'll continue to have over the next few semesters or the next rest of your education. And then we'll have larger class meetings on Thursdays. So Tuesdays we'll have small meetings, and every day there'll be TAs available to meet you one-on-one in any way through virtually that you at any. There will always be time slots, excuse me, for you to see. So we'll meet in small, medium, and large ways, and we'll also participate in larger activities on the campus and in the architecture building. We have some really awesome lectures this semester. So I'm school-wide lectures that I'm excited for you to see that they're here. It's really great. We will be pairing up with AIAS, which is a student organization that will help kind of with younger students meeting older students, or maybe the age isn't the right way to say it, but more practiced and less practiced studio participants. And you'll get to know some of the sort of ways that we work at school and some secret tips about practice. And then for the class itself, you guys already have this list, but you know that the main thing is to really set up a good desk to work so that you can sit and work. And so we're going to use Zoom in one window and Miro on another window. So I've said to people and in your messages that if there's one thing you would buy special for this class, which is not required, it would be an extra screen, and that you can kind of we can talk on one window and you can work on another window. But the main thing is that you have Zoom and on your laptop at the bare minimum. So, and we'll be using sketchbooks we'll be kind of keeping a sketchbook over the course of the semester. So those of you who were in the summer program, you know what it's like, but this is even more. So it's going to be, I'm really excited for this program because we have a really awesome set of TAs, and I think you guys will have fun. So.
Great. I want to also introduce someone who I just saw, Kate Yannick. Kate, do you want to say hello? Kate is also one of your ambassadors. Kate's a wonderful addition. I'm sorry, Kate, I missed you. I don't know if you were on.
Yeah, I had to record another session for another school, so I just
sorry. I wanted everyone to know all of you guys, the ambassadors. Well, thank you so much, Tanya. Tanya's class is one of the most popular classes, so you guys should be really totally excited for her class and to really begin Architecture Studio, your first semester in architecture school, which again is unique for architecture school to start right from the beginning. What are town hall meetings? It's a chance for us to all get together, faculty, staff, students in one room or online, and to talk about any new things happening, any issues you may have. If you are afraid to talk about it, it's okay. We can have a rep represent your issues. You can talk with any of our admin staff to let them know what your concerns are, and of course formally just email Justin what you want to see on the town hall, and he'll make sure it's on there. Again, we have the town halls second Wednesday of every month during your regular studio time, not the freshman studio time, but after this year, you guys are going to have studio Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from around 2:10 until 6 o'clock. this is the only weird year where you guys have studio at Tuesdays and Thursdays. So student organizations, let's have, why don't we have Kate talk about some of the student organizations, American Institute of Architecture students, and then I can talk about the rest of them.
Yeah, AIAS is basically an organization throughout the country that there's a chapter here at Catholic, and it does a whole bunch of different things. One of the main ones is the mentor program. So I'm not sure if you guys have gotten an email or will. You'll be able to be paired with an upperclassman or someone of a higher studio, and you can just get to know them, and they'll help comment on your projects and you can comment on theirs. It's just someone to be there as a mentor throughout your time here. So yeah, they also put on Coffee and Crits, which hopefully when we get back into Crow will happen, or maybe it'll happen online, I'm not too sure, but that's really cool. That's where you can pin up any of your work that you're working on, and faculty, students, alumni, like anyone will come and they can look at your work, comment on it, and it's a really good time to kind of get feedback on things. So that's that.
Yeah, and the parent organization to AIS is the American Institute of Architects. So if you see any of your professors who have AIA after their name, it means that they're licensed architects who have joined the American Institute of Architects, the largest architectural organization in this country. ASHRAE is American Society for Heating and Refrigeration and Air Conditioning Engineers. It may sound boring to you, but you're going to be learning a lot of technical aspects in your education with us. And ASHRAE is one of the most amazing student organizations we have. We've had students win a lot of scholarships, travel to distant places. I even think Hui Jin, one of our former professors, took a group of students to Hawaii sometime a couple of years ago. So that's an exciting group that you may join if you're interested in more technical aspects. The National Organization of Minority Architects, CJ Howard, one of our professors, is the faculty advisor for that. And that organization is primarily for minority architects, which there are a lot of minority architects in the country now. There weren't before. And the last organization is basically a fraternity for those of you who are invited to join it based on your GPA. And we'll determine that in a couple of years. Are you, Evan, are you in the, you're in the, do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, it's not something that you guys, the interview students, really need to worry about now. It comes into play your junior year. I think is the first time you're available to be accepted. It's kind of, you can be involved with it as you want to be. It doesn't have to be something that's like a huge part of your life, or it can be. You can be in like the committee and in the government for it. But it's it's kind of like an honor society. I'm sure a lot of you guys were involved in like National Honor Society in high school. It's similar to that. So we have not a ton of meetings all the time, but a few times a semester we'll get together and plan and organize some events. So yeah, I've enjoyed it so far.
Great. So again, write down any of your questions. Other student activities, we have a lot of them that occur around the year. Here are some links that you can look at if you want to be more involved in some activities. Just a couple of them I threw out here. We have Open Studio, which means a studio will have an open house at lunchtime. They'll have pizza and you can take a look at their studio. I think we may be able to facilitate some of that even virtually this fall. Robin, you can talk a little bit more about that later on with the students. We have Coffee and Crits, coffee and donuts provided in the Miller space by a group called Agora and AIAS. You pin up, Joey, have you been involved in that?
Yeah, I've gone to a couple of Coffee and Crits. You get to bring any stage of your work to Coffee and Crits, just pin it up, and then upperclassmen students or just any students will give some feedback, their opinion. It's really, really casual and very, it's very fun. They're usually at night. I think it says that, but yeah, they're usually on like random nights, Tuesday nights, and they get coffee. But yeah.
We always said that faculty is invited to pin up some of our work. Has that ever happened? Because I would like to pin up some of my work and you guys can critique it if you'd like to. Mark, maybe you can.
I'm going to take you up on that, Patricia. I think that's an excellent idea. We'll do a 360.
That sounds great.
All right.
And then mentoring. Tanya, do you want to talk a little bit about mentoring since that's going to occur in your class?
Yeah, I can mention it again. I think it will be a paired, you'll fill out the forms. I think you all got an email or two, maybe even more, a few reminders to fill out, a request on sort of things that you might be interested in, and then we'll pair you with an AIAS, a student in AIAS that will work together. And I think Maria, who was on, will help work to pair everyone up, and we'll have meetings in our 101 class, and largely they'll happen outside of class, and you will report on them, and yeah, so it'll be fun. It's not a heavy, super time-consuming thing. It's mostly really fun, and you'll get to hear how students work and get to ask as many questions as you want, and kind of understand more about the culture at the school. So.
Great. And then support. So you guys are transitioning into the university life from high school. You may need some support. And this is the university that has a lot of great support. We come at you from all different angles with respect to what you need for support. You need spiritual support. We have Father Jude, whose pictures in this presentation. If you don't know him by now, you will. Have you guys met Father Jude yet? No? You'll know him. He is the priest walking around with a cigarette, usually, talking to students on the corners of the campus, usually, at very random times. He is one of the most amazing priests that I've ever met. And he's got a great charism for being able to meet you at your level and deal with any type of issue you have and problems you may have, spiritual or not. Faculty are great resources also. We have a pretty low faculty ratio. If you have any concerns, go to your faculty. Administrators, as undergraduate dean, a lot of the times I hear a lot of issues that students are having. Is it something that we can handle, or is it something that we need to refer to someone else for? That someone else would be possibly, we have a department where we have a lot of amazing counselors. If it's something a little bit more serious, we have psychologists and psychiatrists. If it's something less serious, we have career coaches. And then of course your friends and family could be, can also be a great support. Did I miss something, anyone in red? Did I miss anything?
Nope, you're all good.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna turn off again and let's hear from Justin.
Hi everyone, I'm still collecting the questions through the chat. Just send us a few quick messages and I will direct them to whichever panelist can best answer it for you guys. Did we have any questions about the next couple of weeks or the studio culture or supports on the campus?
Or we can maybe, Justin, hear the questions that weren't answered in the first.
I can go back to those. Yes, absolutely. We had a question regarding the advisor for transfer students. I don't know how many transfers that we have, but do we have an advisor for transfer students? Oh. Patricia, you're on mute. I'm sorry.
I thought you could read my lips. No. we have right this semester, Robin and Alyssa are going to be handling any transfer students. Transfer students we do in-house the first semester.
Alrighty, so does my phone on a stand quality as a second screen or do I need to buy an iPad? I think this is about this two-screen information. Does a phone count as a second screen or do they actually need a physical screen?
Oh, that's a really good question, and reminds me that we call everything screens, right? I mean like a traditional screen that sits on your desk. I just like grabbed an old one, and it has served me well. I think using your phone is probably going to be too small because you definitely can't work in Miro on that, and it'll be hard to see all your classmates in it. So an iPad could work. But I think what I'm really recommending is sort of your most basic second screen, you know, maximum $100, or, just don't spend much. Maybe you can find one somewhere that's just a really inexpensive screen that can help you put the class, all your classmates on one and the workspace on another. That would be my recommendation.
I think another way to think about it is we typically work on a big drafting table, usually about 36 inches by 60 inches. So it's a big space because drawings are big, you have a lot of different things open at the same time. I think you want to recreate that on your computer screen. So you can't have too much screen area. So the phone will get you by in a pinch, but it's all very compressed. You want to kind of spread things out. Put some space between stuff. Look at it at a big enough scale that you can really see what you're working on.
Thank you both so much for your responses. We have a question. Is prior experience in drawing, such as AP Art in high school, necessary to do well in the architecture program?
Can I take that?
Please, Mark. Absolutely.
As I said earlier, I think drawing is your single most valuable asset as an architect. It's the thing that you can do that few other people can do in any other profession. Of course, fine artists can do this, but the ability to sit down and communicate an idea to another person, a visual idea, not expressed in words, but expressed with a picture, is a very powerful thing. And so any art classes that you've had, any art classes that you have an opportunity to take during school are going to be a tremendous asset to you. And Tanya mentioned that the sketchbook is really important here. It's something that's a requirement for all of your studio classes. It's a requirement for 101. We also have an annual award for the best sketchbook. So students are encouraged to submit their work to this. It's a place to record your observations, something that you see out on the street. Record what you're imagining. You're working through an idea, you're turning it over in your head, you want to get it down on a piece of paper. So it's both a library of things that you've observed that are beautiful, that you want to go back to. You don't know when. I go back to my sketches years later. And it's also a way of sort of recording your ideas as they evolve. And it gives you an opportunity to kind of pause and see how you can continue to develop an idea.
And I'd like to add to that, Mark, if I can. If the question is a question of worry, will I be good enough for the first semester? I get a lot of students that ask me the question, do I need to have these excellent sketching skills coming into school? The answer is, of course, we're going to teach you them. We're going to teach you how to sketch. If your strong point is math and not necessarily art, we're going to teach you the art part of it. If you come here and you are an amazing sketcher, but you're not so good at math, you've got to take a couple of math courses extra before you get into Math 111. We're going to work with that too. So whichever angle you're coming in from, we'll teach you both here. And that's the fusion, the beautiful fusion of architecture. Tanya, you wanted to?
I just want to add one thing. I often tell people that, or I feel like that this adds a lot of anxiety thinking about, am I going to be able to do this if I can't sketch? And a lot of people stop sketching at some point or drawing at some point, and you will just pick up where you left off. So the first things might be a little uncomfortable and awkward, but we are going to practice so much. So like anything you've done, if you were all embarking on learning to play piano this semester and had never done it, it would take a lot of practice. And so that's what we're going to do. we're going to practice a lot. You're going to make, you're going to submit 5 pages of your sketchbook a week. And that doesn't mean you're going to just do 5 sketches that week. It means 5 pages, and it means that you will probably pick your 5 favorites that you've done. And we're not just going to ask you to do these things left on your own. We are going to work with you. We're going to talk about how to hold a pencil, how to draw a line. So if you're already a pro, even, I mean, I can say when I've done this before with other students, even the TAs, even myself, anyone who's there loves to like rethink about the beginning of drawing. So even if you are skilled, it's still fun to practice wiggling the line, right, Evan? It's still fun to do that. Oh, you know, it's still fun to draw. So I think it doesn't matter where you start. And not everyone becomes perfect sketch artists. It's about, like Mark said, it's about conveying an idea. It's not about being the most photorealistic, having the most photorealistic drawings. It's about getting an idea across. So you don't have to be making drawings that look exactly perfect. They have to tell a story. So just, it's going to be fun. And I promise.
Real quick, if I can, I'd like to add a point for the last question about the screens and monitors. A lot of kids, like, definitely don't like spend or blow a lot of money on an additional monitor. It's really just something that you need to plug into your own laptop as a second screen, like Tanya mentioned. And these things can be found. I think I got mine from like Goodwill for like $15, or you like Facebook Marketplace is really good. Like it can be old and used. It just has to have a functioning screen and a cable that you can get for probably like $5 on Amazon and plug it into your laptop. So definitely don't be going for anything crazy for your second screen unless you really want to. But I think there's resourceful options if you do some looking that you can find something cheap.
My second screen at home is something that someone was going to throw away. And I use that professionally too.
Quite resourceful of you, Patricia. Just really quickly, I have a question that I actually can answer myself. A student was asking about training for the wood shop. Because the building will be closed in the fall semester, we are going to be training all of the new students in January when you guys return from your winter vacation. So yes, there will be 45 minutes seems a little short, honestly, because when I was helping, I think it would take a little longer, but you guys will definitely be trained in the wood shop. So the next question, when can students start joining organizations, specifically NOMA?
Immediately. What I think would be helpful is if we distribute to you a list of organizations and the faculty advisors so you can join these organizations. And I'm going to make a little note of that, and then we can distribute that to you, okay? So you can begin the organizations ASAP. Great way to get involved in the school.
Absolutely. So how would students go about contacting their major advisor? Is just email, correct?
Sure. We can distribute that as well. We can give you that after this meeting, the email to Victoria McCloskey, or if you want to take a look at our website, the Center for Academic and Career Success, and maybe we can throw it on the chat, actually. All your advisors for this semester are going to be in that department, the Center for Academic and Career Success, and we can provide that on a link right now. Actually, I could probably distribute the names of the faculty advisors for the different organizations right now as well in the chat.
I think students would find that very helpful, Patricia. Thank you so much. So we have a question regarding the specific type of laptop. The students understand that they don't need them until spring, but what type of laptop is recommended?
I think Kate could answer that, or Robin?
Yeah, I can talk a little about it. I would suggest getting a PC, so like a Dell, or something that can run Windows, just because a lot of the programs that we use, they don't function on Apple computers, and you'd have to set up like a way to access Windows on an Apple computer, and it's doable, but it is a little more difficult. So if you do have the option of getting a PC, I would do so. I just have like a Dell Inspiron laptop I got from Best Buy. Something that has that can run fast, has a lot of space, but you can always buy like extra storage. But something that can run fast and has a good processor.
So Revit doesn't work on Mac computers. Doesn't work on Mac OS. So if you can have a Toast software that translates to a Mac, but you have to pay a lot more for that. I would say PC is really the way to go if you're going to be using Revit.
Yeah, agreed. All my work is on PC. A lot of the software is not adaptable to a Mac computer. Also, if you want to know specifically what computers you need, it's on our website.
I'm gonna send on the chat a file with all the specifications.
Thank you, Paula. Related to it, one student is asking if they download the Microsoft software onto a MacBook Pro, would that suit their needs for the architecture program? If it has the Windows software, it seems that it should be fine, correct?
I'm not sure if a MacBook Pro has the partitioning capability.
Okay.
If it does, then it can work. It's just a little cumbersome.
Understood. Are there any other questions that we have? I have one. Are students allowed to declare a minor outside of the School of Architecture?
Absolutely. And there are a lot that already have a minor. And if you want to be IPAL and have a minor, you can do that. If you want to be IPAL and play a sport, you can do that. If you want to be IPAL and be a dual major, you can do that. If you want to be IPAL, dual major, play a sport, and have a minor, we don't say no, but I've never witnessed it before. I think Evan's pretty close with being in student organizations and playing a sport and being an IPAL. But I don't know, Ev, you want to add on?
Yeah, I'll just say quickly, yeah, definitely with minors. I mean, outside of, I know a lot of people in the School of Architecture with minors in all kinds of things. It could be related to architecture. I mean, I think the beauty of architecture is that really everything is related to it. But I know people doing language minors. I know people doing business minors. There's all kinds of different minors. And then there's like sustainability minors and some more popular minors within the architecture school too that you'll hear about a lot. But really definitely take advantage of the fact that Catholic will work with you and support you in doing whatever it is that you want to have in your academic journey. There's really a lot of opportunities, and Patricia's right, like no one's ever told me no to anything. So if you have a desire to study something on the side or to switch your major, or like really anything, anything that's you realize you want to do, or even just think about, you don't have to make a decision. You can talk to your advisor. The advisors are really helpful in helping you sort things out. And definitely, yeah, no one's really going to say no. They might tell you that you're crazy, but I know some people that have been called crazy before and still finish with like double minors and all kinds of stuff, and do really well. So if you can dream it, you can do it, especially in this program. So that'd be my advice.
Thank you, Evan. That's really helpful information for the students. I wanted to let people know that Paula dropped a link in the chat for the laptop specifications, so please take a look at that. And then I'd also like to let you know we're going to go on to the next session right now. I just want to make sure we stay on track.
For this section, please feel free to send me chat like the questions as we go. I can just copy them and paste them, and then that way I'll have them all set up for next time we break for Q&A.
Great, thanks, Robin. Thanks, Justin. So we finished with today, we finished with this week, first semester. Let's talk about your first year. A little bit more comprehensive. Studio culture, fall online, studio culture, and fall spring studio culture, and also some software issues. So has anyone heard of studio culture? Raise your hand. Okay, so Brianna, do you want to talk about studio culture for a second?
Sure. So studio culture is really about being, one, I would say being respectful, like the slide says, and collaborating with your peers. The best part about studio in person and online is being able to comment on each other's projects and helping figure out different ideas. Even once you guys go into Enviro class, you'll be able to work on sustainable strategies together, and even just professors walking around or just upperclassmen will come and comment on your work and ask questions. Just really, you know, just having to be respectful of other people's work and workspace is the biggest thing I would say about studio culture as well.
Does anyone else, Joey or Kate or anyone else, want to talk about studio culture here at CUA?
I'll add just a little something. I think studio culture is what makes the architecture school so different than anything else at Catholic. It's really just you get your own space and you're surrounded by peers who want to learn and grow, same as you. So it's kind of just such a wonderful place to just get to know people, work together, upperclassmen and underclassmen alike. Like, I've had conversations with grad students and conversations with freshmen throughout my whole time here. And every person's here to help you out and help you succeed.
Great, thanks. Basically what studio culture is the atmosphere you'll experience in your studio. And as you know, and you'll see it in just a second in our virtual tour, our studio space is very large. It's all encompassing. So the way that people behave and treat each other is extremely important. The Catholic University of America extends into our studio. We have a studio of respect, more collaboration than any kind of competition. And even for competitions, people collaborate. So that's what we have, that's what we adhere to. And that's why spending any time in Crow is a truly enjoyable place. It's a place for growth, collaboration, and also at Catholic University to teach you how to be a good citizen of the earth. We talked a little bit about software. Here's a little bit more detail. You should have Autodesk, Microsoft Office. For Autodesk, you'll need AutoCAD and Revit. You have free downloads for these. And then Adobe.com, which is a creative cloud for students, which is $20 a month, but certain sites have some savings for that. Okay, Tanya, do you want to talk about anything else in specific with respect to the software?
Well, I can just say that you don't need it's important to have this on your radar, but for this first year, you won't really, certainly for the first semester and the second semester, we really focus on continuing hand drawing. So you will be able to use sort of a free version of everything for the spring semester. So you don't have to get a budget for that yet, but it's definitely great for you to start to look at those softwares and know that they're on the radar for upcoming studios.
Okay. Justin.
Alrighty, so for now, while I wait for you guys to filter in with any questions on that section, do we mind if we go back and ask a couple of questions? I just have a couple that weren't asked previously.
That's fine.
What if the Wi-Fi in the dorms don't work? That's like a...
I can field that. There should be well, it's been a couple of years since I've been in the dorms, but when I was there, all of the dorm rooms or units had plug-in internet connection. And that was really, sometimes you have to get like a little converter to plug in to your computer, because it's like an old analog kind of like plug into the wall with like big long blue cable. If you didn't get one of those cables with your room, you should either be able to talk to tech support or order one if they're not providing those. And then there's little converters to go into your computer, and that's generally really good. The plug-in internet at Catholic is usually doing fine. Sometimes the Wi-Fi is a little spotty, and I'm sure it will be this semester with everyone piling on. I would say though, like if you are having trouble with your computer and Wi-Fi, talk to your professor. Like if you can email them through your phone or another outlet, just let them know you're struggling, because I think the professors, like this past spring when we all went online, the professors have been really understanding about some of those issues, and then you can work around it and try to solve the problem, but definitely let people know if you're struggling.
Technology services. Oh, please, Tanya.
I was just going to echo that, Evan. That's really a good point. I think, since all of you will be in my 101 class, if you have any kinds of concerns, if you have internet access issues or issues with privacy, you can't get in the right desk in the right spot, just let us know. We're going to figure this out together. Just let us know. We're going to help.
Awesome. Also, technology services would probably be a good resource, like for the Ethernet cables or anything like that, if you guys have any issues accessing the internet. I don't think it's like terrible in the dorms, but just in case, technology services is a good resource. They like their web page is like completely decked out, and like they have phone numbers that you can call to have someone come out. So I haven't gotten any questions on this section, so I'm going to have add another question from previous. Is there a particular type of sketchbook that we can recommend, or is it just what the student prefers? Yeah, please, Tanya.
I mean, I think there's probably all the instructors and students could give you their advice on what kind of sketchbooks they like the most. So everybody kind of gets their own. People love to have a specific size moleskin with a specific, paper weight count. But the main thing, and a lot of times we specify like, a spiral bound or this bound, but for this fall, the main thing is that we're going to be taking pictures of our drawings. So if you have something that, like if you're using an old phone book for your sketchbook, which I think would be awesome, but you can use whatever you want. If you can get your hands on a phone book, that'd be cool. But you can use anything you want, but you are going to need to take pictures of it, and it's better if you don't have your fingers in the pictures. So something that lays flat. That's really the only kind of recommendation. But if your first submissions have the wrong sketchbook, it's fine. We'll talk about it and we'll look at them all together and we'll assess that. So but if you want something that can lay flat, that's why I even say even a ream of paper is fine. It's just something that you can lay flat that you can take pictures of. So, so it's up to you. But I think we gave you a link to some of our favorites. If you look on Blackboard, we have kind of the top 3 favorite sketchbooks that the TAs like the most. So you can look at that as well.
Are there any other questions? That was the last of the ones I had on reserve.
I have a suggestion, John.
Yes.
Oh, excuse me, Patricia. I was just going to suggest. So I'm a professor here at Catholic, and I taught in the spring. And what I noticed is there's something called Zoom fatigue, and that is real. And we have been on the Zoom calls this upcoming fall. I'm never going to Zoom this long with students. What I would suggest now, if it's okay with everyone, is feel free to turn your cameras off. We're running a little ahead of schedule. Turn your cameras off, jump up and down in your room, stretch, stand up. We all don't need to see it. You can leave your camera on if you want. I'm going to turn my camera off, look out a window, let your eyes look at something in the distance. We care about you and your well-being. And then maybe in 2 minutes, Patricia, if it's okay with you, we'll all come back and we'll do that final segment. I'm just starting to see people are getting a little tired, and I feel you. I get it. So feel free to turn off your camera in maybe 2 minutes. Come on back. We'll call you back. Sound good? Okay, great. See you in 2 minutes. All right, I feel better. Whew. Look at all these hardcore folks that are still Zooming, still turning on their Zoom. Justin, you didn't take a stretch break.
I might. I think I'm just like have a little party here. Like,
There you go. Connie, don't you feel better?
I just turned my camera off. I didn't really walk away. Nothing else to do. But you're right. It is what we should do.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to do it every 45 minutes.
That wasn't so much stuff in our class. I think your instructors, everybody, all the instructors will try really hard to keep, but you're so right. It's like studio is kind of be the hardest, I think.
Yeah.
It's long classes, yeah.
It's a long time.
I'll be right back.
Cool. It also gives you a chance to like talk to people, you know, walk around, take a little bit of a
Yeah, it
break.
gives you the water cooler moments
That's
naturally.
right. Yeah. We're going to call them bio breaks, I think, in
Mhm.
the, yep.
That's what I've been calling them for years.
Yeah.
Take a bio break.
It's a very trendy new word. It'll be in the dictionary soon.
I remember when I first started at CUA, there was a young faculty who used to say that.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Oh, so no, maybe it's not a new word.
I don't
Just
think
new to
it's
me.
too new, but it's new to us.
New
Yeah.
to me, yeah, totally. Excellent. So everyone feel free to write any questions you have in the chat as you join us again. We're doing good on time. We have one more segment, and then we have that virtual tour that Patricia was talking about. So we're almost done. Thank you for hanging in with us. So now we just wait for Patricia to come back. She's the cruise director today.
2 minutes was more of a concept than a period of time.
Totally. I find a nice 10-minute break is really nice. That really gives you a time to really take a break.
Yeah.
2 minutes is quick. Hello, Patricia.
Hi.
But 2 minutes is an unrealistic bio break.
Yeah, I was like running.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Break. I'm like,
Well, we're doing good on time, so.
I'm excited to see all these names and faces on a little bigger screen.
I'm excited too. I've met a lot of you guys earlier. Are you guys all in the dorms? No, not all. Not everyone's in the dorms. Some of you are in the dorms.
It's like a lot of them. Yeah.
Are you in Opus?
Yeah.
They're all in Opus? Where are you if you're not in Opus?
Patricia, the students are spread out between Centennial Village and Opus Hall for those on campus.
And are they in individual rooms or do they have roommates?
That's correct. They're either, if you're in Centennial Village, you have a suite mate, so just one person. And if you're in Opus, you're in a group of 4 and you have your own. Yeah.
Okay, great.
great. Thanks, sweetheart. No, I'll eat it later.
I'll lay it down.
So if you're joining us again, feel free to turn on your cameras and we can start up again. I see most of you have your cameras turned on. Thank you for that. So Patricia, it's probably good to go whenever you're ready. Perfect, thanks.
Okay. All right, so this last section, we're going to talk about your future at CUA. The things that don't necessarily pertain to you as a freshman, some do, but we're going to be talking about NCARB, the National Council for Architectural Registration Board's licensure for architects. Raise your hand, just your physical hand, or formally raise your hand. Who's interested in becoming a licensed architect at this point? Okay, let me scroll through here. Keep your hands up. Licensed architect. Awesome. Okay, great. All right, fantastic. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about IPAL. Who's heard of IPAL? I hope most of you have heard of it. I hope most of you. Okay. Whether or not you've heard of, we'll talk about it. Undergraduate majors, graduate degree options, and then we're going to reiterate what Mark was talking about with respect to the architectural education. So the way to become licensed for you guys who are interested is really three parts. There's your education, which you get from us, your experience, which you get from architectural firms, working at architectural firms, or for licensed architects, or in the field. And the third part is your examination. The examinations are pretty tough. There's a series of examinations that total about 40 hours of total testing time. It's one of the most rigorous examinations that I believe surpasses engineering examinations or other fields. With respect to education, what we offer you here now, what you're pursuing, is a Bachelor of Science in Architecture degree, which leads to professional licensure. But also, we afford a Bachelor of Arts in Architectural Studies, a dual degree, a Bachelor of Architecture and a Bachelor of Civil Engineering, and a Bachelor of Science in Environmental Studies. So the Bachelor of Science in Architecture, and if you can get through, well, the Bachelor of Science in Architecture and BCE are the degrees that are paved, that pave the path for licensure for you. The other two degrees, the Bachelor of Arts in Architectural Studies and the Bachelor of Science in Environmental Studies, you can become a licensed architect, but that will require a few more years of a master's degree. Okay, so if you guys have any questions, you can type it. But to be a licensed architect, you need to pursue the Bachelor of Science in Architecture degree and Bachelor of Architecture and Bachelor of Civil Engineering, but mainly the Bachelor of Science in Architecture degree and your Master of Architecture, which will be about a year and a semester after your bachelor's. Does anyone, well, if anyone has any questions, just type it and we'll talk about that. Okay, usually a lot of people have questions about that. The IPAL program stands for the Integrated Path to Architectural Licensure. And a couple of years ago, the organization, the body that oversees all architectural licenses, the NCARB, devised a path for students to become licensed fast, because it typically takes 10, 12 years to become licensed. It certainly took me a long time to be licensed. But we didn't have this IPAL. IPAL's new, it's from 2017, it was devised, and we were one of the first schools to have the IPAL program at the Catholic University of America. We have 4 cohorts going on 5 cohorts of IPAL students now. What the IPAL program does, let me explain it to you. It provides a path to meet all the criteria for professional licensure. So what I just showed you, education, experience, and what was the third one? Examinations, right? These three paths can all be fulfilled by the time you get your master's in architecture, which is about 6 years. So how do you do this? For you guys now, who's interested in pursuing IPAL? Raise your hands if you are. Okay, so it looks like a lot of you are. What you have to focus on this semester, your freshman year, is pretty much one thing, your grades. Because the way you get into our IPAL program is simply by having a 3.2 GPA. And then I will send you an invitation, or Robin will send you an invitation to join IPAL. So in the spring, we will be together collectively reviewing all of your applications. If you have a 3.2, if you have a good recommendation from Tanya, because she'll have you for 102 and 101, then no problem, you can get into IPAL. It's when your GPA isn't so strong that we start to worry whether or not there's maybe too much on the plate at this point. These are some of our famous IPAL students. Mike, who was just featured in an NCARB article. This is Mike, another Mike, who was featured recently in his firm, Bonstra Hair Sign, did a whole feature article on him. And Sarah Karanglu, who was featured in our university public relations. So these are our IPAL students. The schedule for IPAL, let me show it to you now. You start with the summer one. I'm sorry, you start with the Studio 101, Tanya Studio, this semester. You go to Studio 102. Depending on how well you do in school, in all of your classes in the fall, you'll get an invitation to join IPAL. So then spring, your Studio 102, we can see who wants to be in IPAL. And if we accept you, which we probably will if you get good grades, and if you have a good recommendation from Tanya, you'll stay with us in the summer, summer 201, 202. You'll stay with us for 301, in which case you actually become a junior. Then 302, then after 302, you leave. You take an academic leave and you leave for 8 months. And you're employed by a firm who pays you money, sometimes a lot of money. And you'll take your first 2 licensing exams, believe it or not. Then you come back in the spring Studio 402, and that's actually your last studio. And then in the summer, you could opt for a travel studio, or you can do that in the fall. In the fall, you become a grad student. In the fall, your 4th year of fall. And then you leave again for another internship. It could be with the same firm, it could be with a different firm. You leave again for 8 months. You take another 2 exams, you work another 8 months. So at the same time, you're accruing your education, your exams, and your experience. You come back for the fall, your last year of grad school, you take 2 licensing exams, you finish up your thesis, and if you pass all your licensing exams and you have all your experience, you actually can walk across the stage with a license in architecture by the time you're in grad school. Okay? So write down any questions you have for that. And I would like some of the IPALers. Evan, you want to talk about the IPAL program a little bit?
Yes. I mean, Patricia did a great job of explaining the schedule. We'll definitely take questions as they come. There's usually a lot of questions here that we've gotten. I'll just add, I've really enjoyed my time in the IPAL program, and it's been a great experience. Really, in the past, like, it's been tricky sometimes figuring out all the schedule, but no, like, with the cohorts that have gone before you, we've worked through so many things and understanding the program more every year, every question that comes up. And I think the program's at a really good place right now, where you got, like, when I came in, I was in the 2nd cohort. So there were still some things we were figuring out. but every year more and more. It's great to see more kids are coming into the program, more students, and it keeps it continues to really be inspiring and enjoyable to see the people in this program pursuing their licenses and going to really cool different internships. I had a great internship at a firm in Georgetown for my first internship experience. And then going back to school, it's kind of refreshing, and you have a new perspective after going to work full time. That's a little bit different than maybe just going for like a 3-month summer internship on like a normal schedule. So it's been really great. I'm looking forward to continuing now. Like I said, I'm in that fall 4 where I'm it's my 4th year, but I'm like a grad student now. I'll be in grad studio. And it's been really enjoyable. So yeah, definitely ask any questions away, and we can get to any specific things.
And also this fall, Robin will be going into Tanya's class to talk a little bit more about iPal in more detail. For master's degrees, again, this is your future, but you should kind of have this in the back of your back of your mind. You can pursue a Master's of Architecture with us. If you do, and if you graduate from your Bachelor of Science in Architecture with us, you only have to stay with us for a shorter period of time. If you choose to go elsewhere, it's usually about 3 years, 2 years, but for us, it's a year and a semester that you can finish with us. We also have a couple of other options for master's programs. We have the Master of Science in Net Zero Design, and we also have a Master of Science in Facility Management. The last 2 degrees are right now very hot fields in the discipline, in the real world, operations and maintenance, and making sure that buildings are operating smoothly after they're built, very hot field. And also Master of Science in Net Zero, learning how to design buildings that use the same amount of energy as they consume. Again, master's degrees, just want to touch those. So what to expect again? The next slide is the tour, and we have questions and answers. So what to expect from your architectural education? And I'd like Mark to join his voice into this. We're kind of reiterating what you said at the beginning. What do we expect from an architectural education? What should we expect?
You're going to learn how to learn, because when you get out in the profession, it's going to be different than what you think you're preparing for today. And it's going to continue to evolve. It's not static, it's a dynamic thing. And the things that I've had to learn in the course of my career were never, I was prepared for them in the sense that when I left school, I knew how to research things. I knew how to find information that I needed. I knew how to define problems. I knew how to recruit experts to help me solve problems, how to consider multiple alternative solutions to these problems, how to pitch them to people that are the decision makers, and how to get things done on a budget and on a schedule. This is what architecture school trains you for. And architects are actually very desired in a lot of other professions that are project oriented, where they need people to understand the problem. It's unclear, it's dynamic, it's open-ended, who need people who can talk to a multiple of disciplines, who can understand the language and the concepts of different ways of getting things done, and can make a roadmap for creating a result, and a result that really attacks the problem at hand. This is a really special set of skills, and it's necessary to build buildings, but it's applicable to a lot of things in life. So if you find that at some point in your career you've veered off into something other than designing buildings, it's probably because you were well trained in school.
Great. Excellent advice.
Patricia, before you hit play on the video, can you make sure that you share the audio? Also, when you share your screen, did you click on the option share audio too?
Yeah, but what I was thinking about is maybe going into questions and answers first before we do the video. What do you guys think? That way the video could be a separate questions and answers. So Justin, let's go ahead and do a questions and answer.
Awesome, awesome. Can you be in the IPAL program while being in the dual degree program as well? I think that's a really good question.
Yes, you can. And we offer a path. But everyone who does it either drops engineering or drops IPAL. And that's the fact. So we say yes, and we have an option. And if you want to do it, go for it. But keep in mind that the dual degree, you're going to be taking about 18 to 21 credits per semester. That's a lot of credits. And you also have your summers of internship. So it's, like I said, every student who has endeavored that has either dropped engineering to stick with IPAL or has dropped IPAL to stick with a dual major or something like that. But we haven't had anyone stay in the IPAL program while being joint degree, but we do provide a path for that.
Awesome. Similarly, related to IPAL, is there a specific number of students that are accepted into the IPAL program?
Right now, the faculty has voted no more than 25 students. Coincidentally, our past couple of years have been about 25 students anyway.
I think, this is kind of like an interesting question just on our end. If a student were to achieve less than a 3.2 in the fall semester, would they be able to bring their GPA up enough by the next spring to join in a later semester, join IPAL in a later semester?
Yes, we do have an option for students who don't necessarily make the cut for the first fall. We have a waiver of a second try for IPAL. And that means if you achieve a 3.2 by the end of your second semester. And if you do, there's a very short window because your studio begins very, very soon after the last semester of the spring. There's like a 2-day window, but we do offer that option if you do get your GPA up to 3.2 before the summer semester.
Patricia, this question is, I believe, geared more toward the master routes of studies. The master's in city and regional planning, does that fall under the IPAL Hub or the MARC, or is it something separate?
Right now, we don't have any students in the Master of City and Regional Planning. If you're interested in Master of City and Regional Planning, then you're probably not on a path to architectural licensure. Architectural licensure, you need a Master of Architecture. I hope that answers your question. And can we have, if it doesn't, can you elaborate, whoever was asking?
Yeah, hi, it was me, Colin, who was asking. I guess what I was more asking is what I was told is in order, because my goal was to get that degree, that master's degree, and I was told to get a degree in architecture before the master's degree. So I guess what I was asking is, as like kind of the, we get closer to that point, will there be people able to consult with me on how to kind of get to that point within getting the Bachelor of Science in Architecture and then still going towards that route of the city regional planning?
Yeah, and I think a lot might change in a couple of years.
Okay.
Let's take it one step at a time, number one. But number two, also, a focus on Master of City and Regional Planning can be accomplished through a Master of Art. I mean, a focus on City and Regional Planning can be accomplished in a Master of Architecture program, and through a different variety of ways. Taking electives that are focused on City and Regional Planning, A, B, focusing your thesis on an urban planning project. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you can actually gear your master's degree towards a more urban planning focus, but still have a Master of Architecture. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, that's an option of how you can become a licensed architect. If you have a master's in city and regional planning and not a master's in architecture, you'll have to go for a 3-year Master of Architecture, or you have to do 2 at the same time.
I guess well, my question was more if could you do the program without becoming a certified architect and still going the route of city and regional planning?
Definitely. You just, that has nothing to do with the IPAL in that case. IPAL is specifically for becoming a licensed architect.
Okay, thank you.
Definitely can do a Bachelor of Science in Architecture and go on to another field for a master's degree.
Great, thank you.
Patricia, now I know that we have the study abroad semesters. I believe it's in Rome, correct? The student is asking if the IPAL internship can be abroad. Is that a possibility?
You bet.
Also, in terms of more information for the IPAL program, is there a website students can peruse to learn more about the program, such as the NCARB website, I think, or something
on
similar?
our website, we have a link to the NCARB website. Our website, the CUA website, should be updated with the latest IPAL information. I'm not sure if Kate has updated that yet, but we have on our
I can put the links in, Patricia. I'll put the links in the chat right now.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Robin.
Yeah, so we have a lot of information we should have a lot of information on our website about our IPAL program, in addition to links and a pamphlet about IPAL, and also links to the NCARB website, so you can take a look at it. On our website, there also should be a little webinar that I did with a couple of our students and the director of IPAL at NCARB. CUA, truth be told, is one of NCARB's favorite IPAL programs. And so they invited us to do a little talk, a half-an-hour talk. So you can see that on the NCARB website. If you Google CUA IPAL, you can look at that as well. But all that information should be on our website. If it's not, then Robin will send you some of those formal forms herself.
In the chat window, Robin actually just sent 2 links that should take you to the NCARB website. So please definitely take a look at that if you have a chance.
I would like to add on the last question about the doing an internship abroad. That's a great point, and Patricia nailed it plainly that you can totally do that. I'll also put forward, a lot of people have done internships in the IPAL program where they are from. So we saw a picture of Michael, one of the IPAL students. He's from California, and he did his internship in California. So, and whether that's, that can be economical, you can live at home, or if you just, have felt that you're in DC for a while and want to go home or go somewhere else. That's one of the nice things about the program at CUA, the IPAL program, is that you can go and do your internship wherever, anywhere in the world where you find an internship.
Awesome. Thank you all so much for your responses to that one. Any other questions that you guys wanted to send, please just notify me in the chat. Robin, how are we looking on time?
We have 5 more minutes if we need them. Awesome. If there's no more questions, we can do the video. So
before we go, I do want to have a little bit of a representation of Bachelor of Science in Environmental Studies and Bachelor of Arts in Architectural Studies before we continue, since those are our other 2 bachelor's degrees. Brianna, do you want to give us a little background? You started in architecture, right?
Yeah.
Brianna is an honor student who started in architecture. Go ahead, please.
Sure. So I started as the dual program, civil engineering and architecture. And I just came to find that they both kind of weren't exactly what I was looking for, but I was really interested in sustainability and environmental practices and kind of stumbled upon the environmental studies degree. And I have been extremely, extremely happy with, one, staying in the architecture school, which I've really kind of made my home, but also having the flexibility to really make this degree exactly how I want it to be. I'm also minoring in peace and justice studies, which is interdisciplinary. So I know someone had a question earlier about being in the architecture school and taking a minor from other schools. but I have been able to really just make this program exactly how I want it to be. I actually moved my capstone project up a full year. Instead of doing it in my senior year, I'm starting it now, and I'm working on urban agriculture and food insecurity in DC. So I will be working in urban gardening and urban planning, and it has been really great. You can go into any field. Someone else in the major is doing a pre-law, so they're going to go into environmental law. But doing this environmental degree within the architecture school and not having it be a completely science-based has really given me an edge, just because the building sector also is 50% of most emissions. And so having it within this school really just gives you a whole different perspective. And if you want to go into sustainable design, this is really great too. Except we don't have studios like every other architecture major, so that's something to think about. You would not be going into architecture licensing from this particular major. But if anyone has any questions, I can drop my email in the chat, but it's been really great and super flexible.
And also, I just want to mention that any architecture freshman that's here right now, if you're interested in a minor in sustainability, that absolutely can happen. So you love architecture, you're not completely willing to go to another degree, but you want a little bit more about the environmental sciences, that's an excellent option. And Robin will work with you on that this semester. I'll pick up and work with you on that in the spring. Okay. Any other questions you can, Justin?
Yes, so a couple of sort of a mixed bag. We were asked to review the pros and cons or the bonuses of being in the IPAL program. Also, I have a student that's very concerned about next summer, what the summer will look like with internships and coming right off the tails of the pandemic. Could you speak a little bit on that?
Sure. First of all, we don't know when the pandemic's going to be finished. So we're not sure if next summer will be out in the clear or if we have to operate as we are now. I just want to mention that just because we're in a pandemic doesn't mean that we necessarily shut down all doors. It just means that we change the way that we have to operate. We still have students who are in internships now with firms. They're just doing that virtually. How cool would it be to work for an architectural firm in Europe and do it from your backyard, right? And you can have that on your resume and you can still have both the experiences. We just change the way that we do things, not necessarily shut things down. There are some firms who have gone asunder, but there's a lot more firms who have just taken it to the next level. So I'm hoping that that answers your question. We give you a lot of support for finding a job. We don't find a job for you. We give you a lot of support for doing it, which means we can hook you up with people that we know if you've exhausted all of your options. But often, I can give you an example. Last year we had, or 2 years ago, last year we had a student who was very, very eager to get a job. He had 3 offers at different firms and he negotiated his salary to be about $25 an hour. He had his choice of doing whatever he wanted to do. He secured his internships for the next 3, for his entire internships. That's an example, and he's making a lot of money. So that's great. That's, I think, the answer to the second part of the question. Justin, can you reiterate the first part, please?
Yes, what are the benefits of being in the IPAL program?
You get your license fast. You get it faster than you would have. If you do the traditional route, you go for your master's, that's fine. Same amount of time to take a master's, a year and a semester if you're staying with us. But then you have to take your licensing exams and then you have to gain the experience, which can take a significant amount of time. So the most important benefit for IPAL is achieving licensure faster so that you can get a license and have that credential that will afford you a higher salary. That's the most important credential. I could talk a lot more about this, and Robin will talk more about that in Tanya's class.
Sure, will do. And I just wanted to remind folks, I think we should move to the video now, just so we can have enough time for the video, and then any questions on the video, and then closing comments from Mark.
Do we have many more questions, Justin?
Just about the studio life in between the summer, between freshman and sophomore year, when the students first enroll in IPAL, but I can reiterate it after.
Yeah, actually, IPAL students can talk about that. Evan, you can talk about that. Joey, you can talk about that too after the video. How about that? Okay, Paula, what did you want me to do?
Before you share your screen, you should have clicked the option to share your audio too. If you didn't do that, you have to stop sharing your screen and share it again. And then in the bottom part of the window, it's gonna have an option, share my computer audio. So you have to click that.
Okay, hold on just a minute. Mute. I think I'll be okay. Tell me if you can hear this.
Yes.
No, we are hearing, the thing is we are hearing the audio that is coming out of her computer. So some people won't be able to hear it properly. So this
America. We have a beautiful
So you have to share your computer, your audio.
If you click more, there's a button that says share computer audio. It's on the right side, so share screen, and then the little toolboxes will show up on the bottom. Click more all the way on the right, and then share computer audio. It's 3 up from the bottom.
campus, and the heart of it all.
Okay, wait a second. I'm going to stop sharing because I can't find where it says more, but it doesn't say share audio. So were you guys all able to see? Were you guys all able to hear it? Yes? Could anyone not hear it? Can you type in your chat if you were not able to hear that?
It wasn't as clear as it could be.
Okay, I can hear it. Okay. Great. So say that again, Joey, please.
So you're gonna share your screen, and then there should be an option for share computer audio.
In the bottom,
Hold on a second. Share computer sound.
Right.
Share computer sound. Great.
Exactly.
Click that off.
Okay. Let me. Oh. Okay, share computer sound, and then.
Patricia, I have to.
Okay, it should be coming up now. What do you guys see? Do you see the video beginning?
Yes.
Do you hear that?
Welcome to the Catholic University of America. We have a beautiful campus, and the heart of it all for the architecture students is the Architecture Building. Hey everyone, I'm Allison. I'm a recent graduate and a first-year Master of Architecture student at the Catholic University. Welcome to the Crow Center for Architectural Studies. We like to call it Crow. We're so excited to bring you along on our virtual tour today. Before we go in, don't forget to mask up. Remember, respect and protect.
Guys,
let's check it out.
You can all hear.
This is the Miller Exhibition Space. We call it Miller. It's a place for students to show off their work and to honor the best of the best. You'll see projects hanging up on these walls typically from anywhere from freshmen all the way through thesis students. At the end of the semester, you'll see it being used for final reviews. Hey, aren't you coming? Here we are in the main hallway. Fun fact, the sculpture above was a design build project done by our students to study the foot traffic in this hallway. It was a great project to do because this hallway serves as a space where students interact and learn from each other all day and night. Here we have a typical studio space where students spend both studio time and out of class time working on their design projects. Our studio culture focuses on respect and collaboration, so even when we have competitions within studios, we all want to see each other succeed. Throughout your time at Crow, you'll have the opportunity to pin up your designs for peers, professors, and visiting critics. We have a lot of pinup spaces, but this one is easily one of my favorites. It's called the Wailing Wall. It's even easy for studio spaces above to collaborate with studio spaces below. How cool is this? Here we are in one of our 2 computer labs. Each computer comes loaded with AutoCAD, Revit, SketchUp, Rhino, and the Adobe Creative Suite. This is the plotter room, where the magic happens. This is where your designs jump off the computer screen and into reality. Do you recognize any of the names on these plotters? If you don't, you will soon. If you're sick of getting glue on your fingers, come to the 3D print lab and try a resin, powder, or filament printer. And look, here's one of my favorite people. Hey, Lorenzo.
Hey, Allison, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well.
What do you want to tell the future students about the woodshop?
So this is where you will be making all your models when the woodshop is open. When you come to school, you're gonna learn how to use all the tools. You're gonna go through orientation. You're gonna safely learn how to use all the equipment. And we're gonna be talking about wearing protective personal equipment, PPE, always wearing goggles, making sure that you're safe. We always wear masks down here, so you're gonna get used to wearing masks pretty quickly.
This is the laser cutter room, where we have 3 amazing new machines where you can upload your 2D files to cut out pieces quickly to make your 3-dimensional models. Although it's going to be closed this fall, we hope to open up it again as soon as conditions permit. This is the spray booth room. This is where we put the final touches on our models, and this way we're able to keep Crow clean and the air safe to breathe. Don't let Kate catch you spray painting anywhere except here. In my time here, this room has been a library, a studio space, a classroom, and a pinup space, all based on the needs of the school at the time. We're all about flexibility here. This is our auditorium known as Kubeck. This is where you learn all about architecture, including history, environmental design, and construction. Also, check out these new chairs. They're so comfortable. Make sure you don't fall asleep. Here we are on the 2nd floor over the office spaces. Up here you'll find professors' offices, but also this room, one of my favorite classrooms called Lowcraft. If you get a chance, check out all the drawings on the wall. They're all hand drafted. Thank you for joining me on this tour today. I'm so excited to meet you all as you begin your journey into the world of architecture. It's going to be a great year because today and every day is a great day to be a card.
All right, it looks like we're in the last Q&A.
That was beautiful. Allison sums up the place perfectly. Right? I mean, you see the tools, you get a feeling for the atmosphere. It's great. We're all very lucky to be working in this building. It's unusual to have everything under one roof and to be able to work in a space that has that kind of loftiness that I find very opens the mind. It's easier to have a good idea in a big open space like that than in a cramped little space.
So we have time for a couple more questions. Is that correct? If we could circle back to the courses between freshman and sophomore year for students who are enrolled in the IPAL program, open that back up to the floor.
Yeah, I'd like actually Joey and Evan to answer that. Again, this is the summer, your first summer after your freshman year, where you begin the IPAL hardcore summer boot camp.
Yeah, so I can take this one. So that's when you're going to be taking 201 and 202. I believe they're typically 6 weeks each way. You also have to take your Structures 1 class with, I believe it's still Holly. You're going to take that with Holly, but that's going to be basically your first real studio. So Studio 101 in the spring, or 102 is more of a foundations course, and then this one is really where you're going to start delving into larger topics like site analysis, maybe even a little bit of environmental studies, just a little, because you really don't take that class till the fall, but you're really going to get to like experiment both with just like lots of different topics though. And we also get to walk around the city in 201 a lot. You get to do lots of sketching around Washington, DC. And then 202, you really get to get some good projects for your portfolio as well. So I don't know. Evan, if you want to add anything else.
Sure. I'll just add for anybody wondering about that summer, I guess like the layout. Joey hit the classes on the head pretty well. So with those classes, typically you're in, it's fairly immersive. You're in Crow we were probably in Crow for about like 6 or 7 hours a day when we were doing that. So you really like, again, like Joey said, like you really dive in to what you're doing and get like that first kind of sense of designing a full building. That's where you'll really get into like a lot of details. And it's fun because you're at that point, like after your first year, that you're kind of ready to start doing some more intricate and serious design things. And I think that the summer atmosphere of taking those studios and sitting down, even though it might seem like a lot now to be like sitting in one building all day, but you move around and you get to, I mean, Crow's very walkable, and even just like all the time I'll be like stuck in studio and just like take a lap around the building and just like walk around, and it clears your head out and is really conducive to getting new ideas and new insights like Mark was talking about. So I really enjoyed that in the summer. You really like get to be thrown in and hands-on, and you're really like just focusing on the architecture courses because that's all you have, versus like a typical semester when you're doing a studio, you'll have a bunch of other classes also going on. So the summer's kind of nice because it's just focusing on those few classes in studios, so you can really dive into your project.
I wanted to just jump in real quick because we're about 1 minute away from concluding. And I know the orientation ambassador, Joey, has asked for a couple of minutes at the very end to go over some announcements. Mark, Patricia, if that's okay with you, I'll transition to Joey now.
Do we have any other questions, Justin?
At the moment, no. That was basically the last question. It'll probably be more in depth, but I'll email you aside regarding that one.
Okay.
So hi everyone. I just want to remind you guys of the rest of the orientation schedule of the weekend. So tonight you guys are going to have your second orientation group meeting that is within your architecture groups. So you're either meeting with me, Kate Yannick, and Julia Perez, or Juliana and Patrick Brown. So don't forget, and those are at 8 o'clock tonight, and it's using the same Zoom link that we sent out yesterday. You should have received emails. And then do not forget, you have to go to or watch the real world video, which is uploaded to Blackboard tomorrow so that you can talk about it in your third orientation meeting. That's all the updates from me. Thank you guys.
Well, we are thrilled that you guys are here. And we are so excited for Crow to be open again so we can meet you in person and so we can experience your education with you. Mark, do you have any other closing words?
Important thing, challenge yourself and have fun.
Thank you guys for attending this. We loved seeing you.
Thank you all so much. Have a great one.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Video was awesome. It was a good job. Really nice, everyone.
It was a great
The
job.
video
Yeah.
good? The video was amazing.
Paula did an absolute amazing job.
Yeah.
That was great. Out of all my 4 years, that was like the best production I've come out of CUA ARC. So it was really great.
So Joey, you could probably stop recording if you want. I don't know if we want to record this for everyone to see.
How happy we are.